Jinxie, come here. Come here. You're gonna sit here because you're gonna be in the video. What's up, guys? It's Drac, and this is a brand new 3D printed blaster that looks a lot like a old school 3D printed blaster. I sincerely dig it. Huge thanks to Andy of Misguided Creations for sending a sample over. Seems to be a relatively new player in the space, has an Etsy store set up. I'll link to that in the description box down below. But this is the All 160, or the ALL 160, and hopefully he comments on the video and tells me what the ALL stands for. But a lot of tactical features and creature comforts in this blaster. Let's launch right into it. So first off, it's got a bearing setup for its prime, which you can tell that's a very, very smooth prime. Pretty good seal, not perfect of course because the air can leak through this scar. This scar is called the Acorn, and a friend of Andy's designed it so it comes standard on all of these. But the thing that I noticed immediately before any muss or fuss about performance or tactical features explicitly was not how smooth it is, but how it's got a quick takedown, and then of course how thin it is. You guys can see there's a talon, there's the width of the blaster, and he says that it's thinner than 2 talons, which is a funny way of saying that it's a little bit thicker than a single talon. But if you pull this pin out here and then use that pin coming from the bottom, kind of tease the top pin out, you guys will notice that the reason it's so thin is it's hiding I'll put that back in a second. I think that's part of the catch mechanism. You can see the rollers in the back there, which is interesting. The spring, which would be easy to hot swap or quick swap in that regard. But then inside, you have a pretty interesting plunger, printed metal hybrid. But then you also have an oval plunger tube. Note the plunger tube isn't printed. It just has a perfectly nested plunger inside. And then what appears to be a dart stop with some rubber padding. Clean shot through that system all the way. Hey, you guys can see me because I can see you. Clean shot all the way through the plunger, through the barrel, and then of course that is a skinny pusher in the barrel, which is just a nice creature comfort. Looks like the O-ring fit is a little loose, which is going to make it interesting for me to tease it back into the plunger. Now that's actually good for plunger speed. Depending on your seal or your goals of your project, it can be better to have a tighter plunger system. But that fit back in like that. Again, so far no tools, which is pretty cool. Let's go ahead and, ooh, this is not an omnidirectional catch, I think. Now I'm dropping things. All right, metal bit back into this bit back into here. Did it go in? Which way did it go in? I can't remember if the metal bit came out the back or not. So metal bit back in the plastic bit, that's going to fit in like so. Ramp facing up towards the back of the roller over here. Make sure that you seat that spring in properly, and then the back cap goes back in. The entire system should nest back together cleanly, and then theoretically you just put those pins back from whence they came. They each have a little ball detent in them, and you're back at it like a bad habit. That is pretty cool. So in terms of tactical comforts, it's very simple. This is pick rail underneath, so it's got kind of an airsoft style vertical foregrip here. This is an M16 grip. It's printed, but it fits standard hardware and locks into the body like that. So it's a printed, pretty standard mil-spec grip, which means you could put anything that you wanted on there. Likewise, this is a printed buffer tube, which has a little bit of metal extending into it. It looks like it sinks into hardware here. That just gives it a little more structural support than just a standard printed piece. But because of that, you can again put a relatively entry-level mil-spec buffer tube stock on the back there. That'll pop over like that, and then it has 4 different adjustable points there. Overall, a very simple, very familiar mil-spec kind of setup here. Like I said, skinny pusher means that drops there or there. You can load while the bolt is closed. You've got a mag release down here that's like a rocker, and then you have one that your trigger finger can fit into by depressing like that. Gravity drop's pretty clean. Overall, these are just excellent Springer creature comforts that you've come to know and expect from the proverbial, almost boring pump action Springer class blaster. Now, there's nothing boring about this. It is elegant in its simplicity. I got mine in red and black, but it comes in a varietal of different colors. Not a lot of creature comforts, no optic included, although you could put any printed optic on it. Full body pick rail up top. The Scar seems to be doing just the trick, and Andy claims that it goes up to 200 FPS with its narrow oval plunger tube. Prime is extremely smooth just because of that bearing. Catch feels good. You get a little bump there to let you know mechanical feedback that it's done exactly what you want it to. No slam fire, obviously. This catch is not designed in that way. You get what you get and you don't complain. Mechanical fastening all over the place. 3, 4 separate priming bars, and then using the barrel itself as a guide. You have a lot of exposed hardware that's either a plus or a minus depending on how and what conditions you run your gear in. Does it have any shots left? Yeah, it's got one more. I dig it. I mean, it's everything that you wanted a Caliburn to be, but tuned up and stripped down to its simple, stable form with a lot of user operation and simplicity upgrades and modifications. You can find it on Etsy in the description box down below. I think it's costing just under 200 bucks, about 180 plus shipping. That's around what you should be paying for a quality printed Springer blaster. If you're looking for something injection molded, then this isn't really the platform that you're looking at all. I am not 100% sure how that shakes up compared to other, printed blasters out there. The SBL is incredible. There's a lot of different options, but this one is made down here in the Sunshine State of Florida. It took very little time for it to ship over here, but I think that it's tactical, it's practical, and it certainly is delivering the hits. Let's put it over the range, get it on a chronograph, and see what it's got under the hood. Alrighty guys, so we're out here with the All 160. Let's prime it and put a couple over the chronograph. Presumably it would be easy to swap the spring to get this wherever you want it to be, but with the Acorn Scar, 164, error, 165, 154, 163, 147. So a pretty consistent, mid 100 Springer. Let's explicitly focus on our target downrange and just see what kind of accuracy we can expect out of it. Firing worker darts out of it this go around. Let's see. Alright, well that's my attempt to convince you guys that I'm the old headshot honcho. Ranges, fire into an empty bay here, don't worry about it. It goes a ways away. That's the All 160. Up to you and kind of your discretion. Again, you have to be into this aesthetic. There's so many options out there around this price point, but it's made by a single person. It's designed by that, so it's a designer maker hybrid blaster, which is about as bespoke gets. Comes in a variety of colors, has a ton of different creature comforts installed. It's built solid. I mean, there's a lot to be said for that. If you only had one Springer primary, I think that this would be a completely solid choice. Lots of creature comforts, very simple, easy to fix, easy to tune, easy to field strip. I dig it a lot. I mean, it's a really solid option. Huge thank you to them for sending one over for review. Happy to carry it into a little bit of a super stock battle here in the not too distant future. Might even tune up the spring. Let me know what you guys think of it in the comment section down below. Much love, blast on, Drac out.